Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Carissa Bowen, and thank you so much for joining the Ciena Solutions Challenge student panel discussion featuring teams from Brazil, Republic of Georgia, and the United States. Like I mentioned before, my name is Carissa Bowen, and I'm the Senior Project Manager here working on the Learning Experience Design team at Digital Promise, and I'm located in Maryland. Of the United States of America, and I will let my colleague Jess introduce herself.
Hi, thank you, Carissa. Hi, y'all. My name is Jess Alanis, and I'm from South Texas in the United States. You'll see me in the chat throughout the session, and you're more than welcome to leave comments for our amazing panelists throughout the session. And if you have any questions for our panelists, please feel free to use the Q&A feature here on Zoom. Thank y'all. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Jess. And just for everyone that's joining, both for the audience members and the panelists, there is an accessibility feature where you can enable closed captioning so that you can sort of read along with us. So that's just an update for you all. If you are joining and need closed captioning, you should be able to see that in the little Zoom functions at the bottom of your screen. Another message for the audience, as you listen to today's presentations, we invite you to share your thoughts, your observations, and questions by using the prompts that you see on the screen. These are just some ideas. You can always share your own questions, anything that raised an idea or a thought for you. We will share those with the student teams at the end of our presentations today, just to give everyone enough time to speak to their projects. So just if you are thinking about any observations or anything you want to share with students, consider some of the things that you learned. Maybe this discussion made you think of something new. Was there something you found unique or inspiring? And maybe there is a project that raised a question for you. We invite you all to share those questions and reflections in the chat box, or you can also share them in the Q&A function of your of Zoom. And so just to give everyone a little bit of context of what the Ciena Solutions Challenge is, if it's your first time hearing about it, the Ciena Solutions Challenge is a global design challenge that invites middle and high school students and teachers to design solutions to real problems or issues, and really invites them to take action to build a better world around them. And so since launching in 2021, we've had more than 550 teachers from schools and youth organizations across 67 countries. And we have engaged with different regions of student teams. And a lot of those student teams use the challenge-based learning framework to think really big about compelling issues, ask meaningful and thoughtful questions, and designed actionable solutions to those questions. And so student teams submitted their creative products, prototypes, blueprints, like podcasts, digital games, apps, digital data visualizations, that's a mouthful, interactive maps, or something else, really just leveraging digital tools and technologies to address the challenges that they identified. And so student teams used resources that were accessible to them. And in doing so, student teams applied for a $2,500 USD sustainability award that would help them to scale and sustain their solutions. And then a team of Ciena employee volunteers provided some really great feedback to those projects and ideas. And we really want to thank the Ciena volunteers for being able to set aside some intentional time in providing feedback and scoring some of these amazing projects. We might also, I believe we have a few Ciena volunteers that are joining today in the audience. And so if you are joining from Ciena, we'd like to thank you so much for being a part of the challenge, being an integral piece to the challenge, and providing your subject matter expertise to these great student teams and really providing feedback that inspires, motivates, and encourages each team to continue to scale their designs in the future. And so we are in the second year of the Ciena Solutions Challenge. And here's a list of our 20 awardees for the 2023 Ciena Solutions Challenge Sustainable Award. So we've had lots of different engagements with educators globally. Some educators participated by registering for the Ciena Challenge.org, attending a professional learning session, or submitting a project. And so we're so excited to see some of these presentations in our next few days and throughout the YouthMADE Festival. And so we will go ahead and get started. So today you will hear from panelists from Sao Paulo, Brazil. You will hear from student teams from Republic of Georgia, and in addition to student teams from the United States, specifically from Lafayette, Colorado. So before we get started today, we'd really like to get an opportunity to hear from our panelists and just break the ice a little bit. And so students in the chat box, we'd love to hear a little bit more about why you enjoy making art, activism, or design in your community. If you're typing your response in the chat box, please be sure to include your name and the country that you're joining from today. And then alternatively, student teams or panelists, if you'd like to just jump off mute and share your response, we'll spend about 1 minute to share your responses to this icebreaker.
I'm from the Republic of Georgia. My name is Luka Abramshvili, and I'm from the second public school of Sachari. So I have lots of experience in making projects and making art or activism or something in the community. And the main reason why we and me are making these projects are that we are gaining so many crucial skills like critical thinking, leadership, and many more. Yeah. So also one of the main reasons is that we are traveling around the country, around the world, and we are searching and getting to know many persons and getting friends who have same thoughts as we have. So yeah, the process is very interesting, and in my opinion, everyone should try it. And also, and lastly, I'm going to say that we are the part of society. So we have the responsibility to make something, change something. So we should start from this grade. It doesn't matter that I am that school student or something. I am Georgian, I'm a human, so I have to make something. And I'm making it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. And it looks like we have a few responses in our chat box from the panelists as well around Penelope and Josephine say they enjoy making art and activism in their community because they feel strongly about their community and their planet through eco-activism. It looks like Ed also shared that seeing their students engage with activism just shows how important it is to not only be teachers, but educators going beyond the curriculum. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for just participating in that short icebreaker. And so let's move on to our first presentation from the Sao Paulo, Brazil group. So I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen and you all are welcome to take it away.
Okay, can everybody hear me? Okay. Can...
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, nice. Can you hear me, too? Can you hear me? Okay, no, okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's the most common phrase in the last 3 years, right? Okay. Okay, so my name is Ed Gomes Jr. I'm from São Paulo, Brazil. The name of the project is Animal Cries for Help. And I have to say that actually I'm not involved directly in this project, but I follow Evelyn. Evelyn is a protagonist student that she participates a lot in our online classes from Centro de Mídias. And I saw this project that she developed with the teachers Ana Paula da Manela Costa and Maristela. And I told her, okay, you should be showing this not only in São Paulo, not only in Brazil. So you should be showing this all other countries. So that's why I think the Animal Cries for Help is a very important project. So I'll leave that to them. Evelyn, hello.
Hello everyone, my name is Evelyn Santos. I am Joyce Coloto dos Santos.
And I am Larissa Dominique Gaspar.
We are students and we are 13 years old. We are from Brazil, Sumaré, São Paulo. Sumaré is in the countryside of São Paulo. Our advisor is Ana Paula da Costa Faustino and our co-advisor is Maristela Miranda da Cruz. Next slide, please.
The idea came up when we were 11 years old. We were living a period of the COVID-19 pandemic where we were studying through class at home. Thus, in the year 2021, the short film Safe Help was released in which it portrays the use of animals as guinea pigs in the cosmetics industry, and many people began to be impacted by the cause, but after a while they forgot about this very important topic. After all, many customers do not know if there is an animal screaming for help in the production process of their product.
And do people know about this? Next slide.
With the idea in mind, we decided to do a survey for people in our school in 2021 to find out if they were aware of the use of animals as guinea pigs in the cosmetics industry.
And in this slide, we can see in the graphic this blue part is people who know about the use of animals as guinea pigs. And in the other graphic, in the red part, is people who don't buy products with the cruelty-free stamp. Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. So what is this project about? We portrays about the use of animals as guinea pigs in the cosmetic industry. I mean, the industry do various types of testing on animals as guinea pigs. Have so many types, but I will say just two. For example, raised dermal irritation test. In this test, researchers generally use rabbits in which, without the application of anesthesia, have their hair removed and leaving only their living skin. And then the substance is applied. And in the other test is the eye irritation test, where albino rabbits are used because they have the largest eyes and they are imprisoned in a platform without being able to move, and the sticking placer is placed in their eyes to prevent them from blinking. And then the substance is applied without anesthesia, which consequently causes blindness in animals as guinea pigs. Next slide. But we don't have to do that because we are in 2023, we have technology and we have alternative methods, have very alternative methods, but I will just say two. X-skin is an alternative method created in France and used for more than decades, which they receive donation of skin remains from surgery, where cells called keratinocytes are extracted and placed in the middle of a culture, like in this image, and for 7 days. After this waiting time, skin is formed, like is showing the image, and is formed where the product is applied without the use of animal as in pigs. The other method is in silico. It's an alternative method where it performs a computational analysis in which defines the safety and quality of the product without the need of tests on animals.
These are certification fields that are on the product label and serve to certify that the company has not committed any type of cruelty to animals or used an ingredient of animals origin during the manufacturing process. But how will people get to know about the subject?
Next slide.
Students from 11 to 50 years of age through the Youth Club methodology of full-time school test, pedagogy lecture for school management.
Next slide.
Speech in the municipal chamber of colors of your society. Roughly creators on social media range audience of different age continents. Em verso of creativos da escola and international students with promise projects, you protagonists will seek to transform their reality. In 2023, you are developed and able for users to learn about cruelty-free in a focused way.
Yes. And after all these lectures, we have feedbacks and results. The results, we made another form to people in our school and our community. They was and they start to consume more products with the cruelty-free step. Next slide. Yes, next. The other slide. Yes. Okay, so our final considerations. With this, we consider that from the moment the individual becomes aware of our project, he becomes aware of the subject and starts to contribute to the cruelty-free cause. We intend to expand our project nationally and internationally, leaving our legacy of positive impact in this fight for the cruelty-free cause. Other slide. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you can understand what our project is about. And if you have any questions, please ask.
Thank you so much, team from Brazil. That was a great presentation and so much insightful information that I think a lot of folks should learn more about. That was awesome. Thank you so much. If you have any questions for the Sao Paulo team, please be sure to ask them in the chat box and they will be able to answer them at the end of our presentation today. So for our next team, we will be hearing from the student team from the Republic of Georgia around biodiesel, and their big idea was fuel of future. Their essential question is, how can society prevent pollution from damaging the environment? And this team actually made a revolutionary product that will help to fight against global warming and climate change. So I'm going to stop presenting and allow the team to share their screens.
If it's possible, I can share my screen and share a presentation, okay?
That works.
So. Is it showing?
Can you see it?
Yes.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll start. Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening. We are students from Georgia, and we are thankful for taking part in the YouthMADE festival. I'm Luca Abramishvili, she's Tiga Kirvaldze, and she's Nina Majarashvili.
Hello.
We have been on that project for several years. Nina worked on business plan because she can do it very well, and me and Tika working on its chemical side. We made experiments and chemical reactions in Agricultural University of Georgia, and finally we got a product. Now I'm going to talk about that with my team. Biodiesel is produced from vegetable oils, yellow grease, cooking oils, and animal fats. The production process called transesterification converts oils and fats into chemicals called long-chain monoalkyl, which is called biodiesel, and we can use it as a fuel.
So today, fast food industry is a very rapidly developing field of food technology. In Georgia, this manufacturing uses a huge quantity of oils. Unfortunately, there is no government regulation to recycle used oils. Because of it, every company have to pour the oil into the average, and it's very polluted.
And maybe you have a question like, why is our diesel better than the regular biodiesel has? So, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Petroleum diesel, biodiesel has lower emission of pollutants. It has an engine lubricity has a higher certain number than diesel fuel, and no aromatics, no sulfur, and little oxygen by weight. It's biodegradable and it's cheaper than petroleum diesel. On the other hand, biodiesel fuel has become more attractive because of the environmental benefits, because plants, vegetable oils, and animal fats are renewable biomass sources. In the process of making biodiesel, the second product is glycerin, which can be used in medicine.
So yeah, I'm going to talk about business. Our target group is local organic product producers and entrepreneurs, farmers, and the society who are focused on creating something that is safe for environment. So there are more than 10,000 entrepreneurs around Georgia, and this is growing trend, of course. And we want to give them this beautiful, because to make their product more sustainable and environmentally safe. Also, another target group is pharmacy, because the second product of biodiesel is glycerin, which is used to make hygienic material. And we consider oil producing companies as competitor, although the price of our biofuel is much lower. The price is around $1, which is very, very low. And let's talk about business plan. Actually, we need about 106,000 lari to produce 100 liters of biodiesel and 100 liters of glycerin. Because of the biofuel is very cheap, as I mentioned, and we are going to sell the glycerin. And this will be very profitable because there is huge demand for both of them. So yeah, every cost is counted exactly.
Yeah.
So the aim of this current project is to promote phased oil collecting and get biodiesel from its business, which will be profitable for us, also will be reachable and comfortable for our customers. This displace oil in future. And last but not least, we are very grateful for the grant project, and we're going to buy a tractor and use biodiesel in this and cultivate the school plot and get bio product.
So here is some achievements and awards which the biofuel, biodiesel got, the carb product glycerin.
And if there is a time, we can share also a video about biodiesel if you want. Yeah, so here is our video.
განათლება მდგრადი განვითარებისათვის გულისხმობს უსაფრთხო კლიმატის შენარჩუნებას. წარმოგიდგენთ ჩვენი კლუბის ხედვას მდგრადი მიზნების დანერგვასთან დაკავშირებით. ჩვენი პროდუქტი მინიმუმამდე ამცირებს გარემოსა და ადამიანის ჯანმრთელობაზე მავნე ქიმიური აირების ზემოქმედებას.
Hello, we are Future Chemist Club. We are high school students from Georgia. In our club, we are working on various activities and we are glad to be part of this project.
We have been working on the project for several years. We made experiments and chemical reactions in Agricultural University of Georgia, and now we got a product and we're going to introduce it to you.
In this case, we made a revolutionary product, the product which can change the world and solve many problems like global warming and climate change. This product is called biodiesel.
Petrol and diesel are fossil fuels which are harmful to the environment. Carbon dioxide creates an invisible layer in the air that stops heat from escaping and warms the earth. This is known as global warming or the greenhouse effect. We found the solution of reducing harm caused by fuel, and this solution is biodiesel itself. What is biodiesel? Biodiesel is produced from vegetable oils, yellow grease, used cooking oils and animal fats. The production process, called transesterification, converts oils and fats into chemicals, called long-chained monoalkyl, which is called biodiesel, and we can use it as a fuel.
In the researching process we made a lot of experiments. At first results were awful, but after few months we finally found the perfect chemical solution of making biodiesel.
While working on this project, the students accomplished and gained many skills like critical thinking and experimental working.
We worked together and collaborated outside the borders.
We learned from each other's experience.
Biodiesel, the fuel of the future.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah, thank you for listening. And if there is some question, we are ready to answer anything.
Thank you so much, team from Republic of Georgia. That was awesome. If you have any questions to share, please make sure to share them in the Q&A function, or if you are sharing your questions in the chat box, remember to select everyone before you share your question in the chat box. That was awesome. So we have our final group presenting, and I will share my screen. 1 second. And so we are going to be hearing from Peak to Peak high school students from Lafayette, Colorado in the United States. And their big idea was around waste control. Their essential question is, how can we make more reusable shoes? And they actually created a project that will try to solve all of the issues around making shoes more reusable and environmentally friendly for the community. So I am going to actually stop sharing, and Peak to Peak, you are welcome to take it away.
Here we go. Hi, I'm Josephine. I'm Penelope. And we're working on the Eco Justice Fashion Initiative at Peak to Peak Charter School in Lafayette, Colorado.
Just to be clear, we have many different ideas as a school. So like, it's not just the shoe idea, but a bunch of ideas that encompass our whole as a school. Oh, there we go. One of the ideas of which was the reusable shoe idea, shy plant shoes, that me and a group of 2 other people had, where we took in this inspiration from the shy plants, which can retract and fold its leaves on touch. And we decided we want to apply that to shoes. So we could make shoes that would be able to expand and retract on touch. So people would be able to buy less shoes as they grew, and it would be less wasteful and more equitable for people. We had many iterations, like we at first wanted a chemical formula that would be similar to the one the shy plant itself had, but we realized a mechanical formula would also work just as well, where it would be able to expand and retract on your movement. We made a prototype where we demonstrated just that, of your movement itself was the one that was able to control the shoe size.
My group's idea was a glove for the elderly, as many people in the elderly community have shaky hands or poor grip strength. And the idea was that it would contract when you touch something, and you would be able to, and the elderly would be able to grab things without help from other people so that they can live their day-to-day lives easier. We have many iterations of our design. At first, we were just going to have a couple fingers so that it would be easier to put on, but we decided that putting a whole glove as well as a bracelet at the bottom to hold all the technology would make it much more efficient and would help the people a lot more.
So we wanted to expand our impact, so it wasn't just like a couple teams looking at our Ciena Solutions projects that were just on the sustainable fashion solutions, but instead the entirety of our 9th grade team looking at how to make sustainable fashion and make it equitable for people around the world. So we created a sustainability fashion show where all of the 9th graders got into groups and created reusable, upcycled clothing that had tech involved and somehow made the world better. And they all modeled their outfits on our stage a month ago at school.
We had the help from Ruthie Meir, slow fashion expert in our community, and with the help of her and the Ciena Sustainability Award, we plan to expand our idea to the rest of our community this following year. So instead of just having it at our school, we would have it within the town of Lafayette. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Peak to Peak, for sharing your presentation with us. So if there are any questions for Peak to Peak student team, please share your questions in the chat box. And if there are any feedback or reflections that you'd like to share with the team, you're also welcome to share that now. And so we have some time left over now that we've made it to the end of our presentations. We'd love to hear from each panelist about what you thought about each other's projects. So if you have any questions about another panelist project, feel free to start with the questions here. So for the, for all of the panelists, did you learn anything new from some of the teams? We'd love to learn your feedback about that. We'd love to learn about how your solutions have impacted your community, or was there something about the project or the product that raised a question for you? So feel free to sit on this for a little bit, and you're welcome to start answering or responding to a question.
We do have a Q&A that came in for the team Republic of Georgia, and I can read it out. So this is from an attendee, and they asked the team Republic of Georgia, can biodiesel be used in the place of diesel, of normal diesel vehicles? Would it work in the same way as the normal diesel? For example, if I have a diesel vehicle and I opt for biodiesel just one time, would it cause any harm to my vehicle?
First of all, that's why our diesel is better. And using our diesel is better in many ways. As I said, it's biodegradable, it's safe for the environment. And lastly, there is one negative side, only one. You know what? After the making this biodiesel, there was some problem about filters. Using filters with biodiesel is kind of difficult because after months, it's kind of destroying it. Like if the normal car needs to change the filter in 1 year, I think biodiesel needs a car which uses biodiesel needs to change it in 9 months. Yeah, that's it. That's only a little problem, and we are gonna fix it. I'm promising that we are gonna fix it. Yeah. And if I also want to get feedback for the first presentation group, which had the project about animals crying for help. Can I? Yeah. So First of all, I'm vegetarian and I love animals. Like, yeah, they are everything for me, and I'm trying to protect them in my hometown too. But I know also about that chemical experiments which are made on the rabbits or rats and so animals. But you know what? There is not many analog ways to kind of get rid of these experiments. So as you said, you had some alternative way to get the same results. So if you can, I will be glad to listen that way, to share it in my hometown or in my society. Thank you.
Ok, meninas, vocês entenderam a pergunta? Tá. Ele falou que ele é vegetariano, né, e que para eles é importante também essa questão dos animais, né, e ele também está tentando proteger ali o país dele, né, então ele falou que esses experimentos químicos são feitos nos coelhos, né, e eles também que existem maneiras aí de se livrar desses experimentos químicos em coelhos, né, se vocês sabem alguma maneira desses experimentos, ele gostaria de ouvir. Você pode responder em português se souber ou em inglês.
Ed, eu vou falando, daí você vai traduzir, pode ser?
Tá, mas dá uma pausinha, tá? We're going to translate from Portuguese.
Beleza. Existem os métodos alternativos.
There are alternative methods.
Que já são utilizados há mais de décadas.
They have been used for decades.
Existem diversos, mas eu vou citar dois que são os mais usados e os mais conhecidos.
There are two, they're going to say two that are more used and more known.
O primeiro é o teste Grace de irritação dérmica.
The first one is the test of the dermatitic irritation.
Geralmente utilizam coelhos nesse teste.
And they usually use rabbits in this test. Pode colocar mais frases,
tá? Mas eles também podem usar outros animais, como por exemplo cachorro, gato, ratos, entre outros.
They can also use other animals like such as dogs and rats and mouse and cats. Mas aí qual a alternativa?
Nessa testagem de irritação dérmica, os pesquisadores, eles pegam o coelho, por exemplo.
In these tests, they take the rabbit, for example.
E eles retiram o pelo dele, deixando apenas a camada viva da pele, só a parte viva da pele.
And they take off the skin of the rabbit and use only the live part of the skin. Ele perguntou qual a alternativa, tá, Evelyn? Só para falar o que pode ser feito para não ter que fazer isso.
Sim. E, por exemplo, nesse método alternativo, eles fazem teste na pele. Por exemplo, de alternativa para esse teste seria a EPSkin.
So one way of alternative of this test will be the EPSkin.
EPSkin é um método alternativo que ele foi criado e desenvolvido lá na França, lá por volta de 1930.
So this method was developed in France in 1930.
E ele vem sendo utilizado na França e em outros países, como por exemplo o Brasil.
It has been used in Brazil and other countries too.
E esse método alternativo da EPSkin funciona. Eles recebem doações de restos de pele de cirurgia.
And so, in this method, they receive donations of skins from surgeries that have not been used.
E retiram uma célula chamada de queratinócitos.
They take a cell called keratinocytes.
E dessas células, eles fazem um processo na qual colocam uma cultura, um potinho, e deixam por 7 dias aguardando.
For these cells, they can make a culture of cells that for 7 days, and then they live there.
E depois desse tempo de espera, forma como se fosse uma pelezinha normal, como a de um ser humano, e lá é aplicada a substância. Desse modo, não precisa utilizar o animal como cobaia.
So from this process, they can make artificial skin, so they don't need to use the animal as a guinea pig.
Muitas pessoas também perguntam, por exemplo, por que tipo assim, utilizar o animal? E segundo uma cientista da Fiocruz, ela afirma que utilizam animais por o organismo ser mais parecido com o do ser humano.
So, and why they keep using animals? They say that they use animals. One of the scientists says that they use animals because they still look more like human beings.
Mas, de acordo com uma pesquisa feita pela Food and Drugs Administration dos Estados Unidos,
but according to Food Administration research for the United States,
eles contam que, quando utilizados animais como cobaias, o resultado tem 90% de chance de dar errado. Por exemplo, ele faz o teste no animal, mas quando aplicado no ser humano, o resultado é totalmente diferente.
So according to that, 90% of the chances that when use animal testing, that it can go wrong, and the results in human beings are different.
Mas, quando utilizados métodos alternativos, tem 99% de chance comprovado de que o resultado é bem mais eficaz.
So, but when they use alternative methods, 99% of the results are effective.
É isso. Espero ter respondido a dúvida.
That's all. She hopes that she has answered the question.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to answer the question shortly. So someone says that, is it possible to make biodiesel at home? And yeah, it's possible, but you need little knowledge of chemistry, some kind of chemicals, and also you need to get experiments, because as I said, we are going to make it as a business plan. So as a businessman, I can't share everything with you, but yeah, I'm telling that you can make biodiesel at home.
But you can help. You can buy from us.
Or you can, yeah,
Buy from us.
buy from us with cheaper price. You can get 10% discount. Yeah. Thank you.
So I have a question for all of the student teams, and maybe we can start with the Peak to Peak student teams, but for all of the student groups, I'm curious to know if there were any challenges or roadblocks that your teams faced when trying to develop a sustainable solution, because, you know, with the community and maybe sometimes lack of resources, I'm curious to know if what challenges, if any, or any roadblocks that your teams faced. So Peak to Peak, maybe we can start with you.
Yeah, so we had a ton of challenges. One of them was kind of that we did it with our entire grade, which is over 160 students. And so getting everyone to coordinate on one project together was really challenging, especially with the timing, as everyone has finals and classes and, you know, they have to do school. So having the timing and having everyone work together well to coordinate one project was really hard for us.
We also had some trouble. I found students had some trouble with coming up with ideas, because one of our requirements was that these outfits that they made had to actually do something that would benefit their community. And a lot of the outfits didn't really do that as well, because we're ninth graders. We're not the best at like coming up with brand new ideas people have never seen before. But the ones that did come up with great ideas were really incredible, and it was a beautiful final product.
Awesome, thank you. Republic of Georgia or the Sao Paulo team, did you all face any major roadblocks or issues in your creation, in your innovations?
Can I say? Yeah, so yeah, there was many problems. because our project was kind of unbelievable. Yeah, we started in 2016, and maybe there was some projects around the world in about biodiesel, but in Georgia there was none. So when we first tried it, this people, society, or everyone was kind of thinking about us that we are crazy or something, and no one was believing in us, yeah. So yeah, we had to try hard, we had to work hard, and finally we started making experiments about the biodiesel. After starting, there was also lots of problems. Like, as we said, we are making biodiesel with secondary oils. So collecting that oils was a problem too, because in Georgia there was no kind of big there was no knowledge about it, and no one was collecting it for us to sell or buy. And we started to communicate with different restaurants. We were asking for the used oils, and it was kind of shameful, but yeah, after we collected some, we started experiments, and finally we made products. And that's, yeah. But in the end, I want to say that nothing is impossible. And if you try, and if you fail, you just need to try more, little more, and I think it will be good and you will be successful.
To the team from Georgia, your idea has really inspired me and some of my friends. We have any website or something as such that we can forward to others to spread around. So we don't have yet, but we are planning to make some, because we also want to have like business partners and like also schools to share the information and like collect this used oils. And we're going to make some website or like page.
Yeah, and
also you can use QR code that we had in our video, and there are some information about our project, experiments, and so on.
also, we have our Facebook group, a Facebook page about our school, and you can also contact us from there. Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Meninas?
Yes.
Eu vou falar daí ela falou, outra ela falou, tá bom?
Ok.
Dos nossos principais desafios que a gente sempre vem enfrentando desde que começou o projeto é que a gente quer expandir o projeto em feiras internacionais, assim, presencialmente, expandir o projeto, só que na maioria das vezes as oportunidades são para pessoas do ensino médio e a gente não pode por conta da idade.
Okay, so one of the main problems they're facing is that they want to expand this project to not nationally, internationally, and they want to go to live events because we know that the internet connection is not so good. But they are middle schoolers; they're not in high school, and those events are just for older students. So it's like they're considered too young to participate in those events.
Outro desafio que a gente vem enfrentando é na questão financeira, em que a gente tenta buscar apoio de autoridades ou da nossa escola e da nossa comunidade para a gente conseguir participar de outras feiras.
Okay, another problem is the financial aspect that they try to gather help from the community, from the schools, and they can go to fairs to participate on those.
Outra dificuldade também é por nós sermos jovens ainda, ter começado no sexto, muitas pessoas não, assim, achavam que nós não teríamos tanta capacidade de conseguir evoluir como nós evoluímos hoje.
Okay, and the other problem is that since they are young and they're in the 6th grade, they started at the 6th grade, people thought they wouldn't be able to develop that project in that's what they are nowadays. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you so much. It looks like there was a few questions, maybe a question in the Q&A for all teams. So an anonymous attendee had said that your idea had really inspired me and some of my friends, do you have any website or something that they can forward to others to spread awareness? I think that might be for all the teams. So for all teams, I know that Georgia had already responded that you all have a QR code and a Facebook group, but for the teams in Sao Paulo and the team in the United States, do you all have a site or somewhere where folks can access your project ideas? I know we also have the Ciena Challenge site where you can view, we have the project gallery where you can view all the projects, but I'm wondering for all of the teams, do you have like a website or an Instagram or somewhere you can, that other people can see?
Yeah, we're in the process of making our website and Instagram pages right now because we're planning on expanding our idea for next year. And so we're definitely planning on having them to bring awareness about it in the community and not just within our school.
Awesome. And it looks like the Sao Paulo team actually has an Instagram, and they shared their Instagram handle in the chat box. So if you're curious and want to learn more about their project, feel free to copy and paste that Instagram handle in your search bar. This was great, everyone. Thank you so much for all of your great questions and your reflections, especially hearing from the panelists. You all are the makers of this, of your products, and we can't wait to learn more about what your teams plan to do in the future around your sustaining and scalability of your products. So thank you so much. I'm gonna let Jess close us out with some announcements and future details around the rest of the events happening this week at the YouthMADE Festival.
Yeah, thank you, Carissa. And just like a little note, y'all, I did put a link to our project gallery from the Ciena Solutions Challenge in the chat. Y'all can definitely go and scroll and look more of the project details for all our panelists who presented today through that gallery. And I also shared the Instagram from Team Brazil. I'm not sure if that was sent to everyone who attended, but that's also in the chat as well. But amazing job to all our panelists today. And thank y'all for making like our first day of panel discussions so inspiring. We have plenty more opportunities to continue this discussion. And one of them is our upcoming EdCamp. So during the YouthMADE Festival, we'll be having an EdCamp this Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. If you haven't attended an EdCamp before, it's free and open to all educators. And this EdCamp will be an awesome opportunity to connect with other educators and other youth advocates during the YouthMADE Festival to discuss supporting all the creative youth and their innovations. So we would love for y'all to join us, and please feel free to invite your peers, your colleagues, and anyone else who would be interested in attending this EdCamp. We're gonna go ahead and put the link to this EdCamp in the chat where you can register for the Eventbrite, and we hope to see you there. And this is a reminder for our panelists and as well as our attendees. So we are doing community awards this YouthMADE Festival. So if you attended to support a panel today, or if you watched a panel and you were really inspired by them, you can fill out a form to give them kudos. And we will use those kudos to present them a community award at the end of the festival. So we're also going to put the link to that form in the chat. And you can complete that now, or you can complete that towards the end of the festival, and we will review all the kudos that were sent to our panelists. And again, our panelists and educators, feel free to share this form with everyone else in your community. That way they can send you all the kudos, all the congrats, all the feedback that they have for you, and we'll look it over, and towards the end, we will follow up and present you your community award that we'll put all over our Digital Promise platforms. And we reached the end of the panel discussion. We have a few minutes left, but again, we wanted to thank y'all again for joining the student panel discussions today, and a major thank you to our student teams for sharing their inspiring work and for joining the conversation, and now for their insightful questions. We do have a full week of events for y'all that you can register to attend. So tomorrow we're going to continue the student discussions as well as next week. And specifically tomorrow, we're going to hear from teams, I believe in India and Kenya, Taiwan, Canada, Costa Rica, and pretty much all over the world. And we'll also have showcases and a Twitter chat going on tomorrow. So all of that, we're going to put that in the chat. What I recommend for y'all to do is go through our YouthMADE directory and scroll through all the events that we have going on this week. And you're also welcome to share that out. Follow us on our new Instagram page at YouthMADE Festival. Feel free to use the hashtag Ciena Challenge and YouthMADE and tag us in any of your work or any stories that you post. We love to share them, and we love to continue the conversation on social media. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Carissa for any other final announcements and closing. But thank you all again so much.
Thank you, Jess. And thank you again, all student teams. We really enjoyed listening to your great work and your ideas and your projects. Give yourselves a big round of applause and a pat on the back for such great work. And we're really looking forward to seeing you all participate next year and learning more about how you sustain and scale your products. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you so much. It was amazing. Well done, everybody.
Yes, well done. Thank you so much. And we will be in touch with this recording. This webinar was recorded and will be shared with you as soon as we get it posted. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. It was a great opportunity to take part in this project, and we are glad that we worked.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Goodbye.
Take care.